Do solemnly swear. To support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And to bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. That I will obey. The orders of. The President of the United States. And the orders of. Those officers. Appointed over me. According to regulations. And the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. This is your host, Josh, Outcast Actual. I'm actually sitting in here solo tonight. A lot of guys got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm pretty stoked about it. Just found out one of the guys that I actually deployed with to Ramadi back in 06, 07 was with him in Fallujah. He was medevaced out due to an RPG blast to his truck. And we were kind of going back and forth, and I sent him over some stuff on some of the stuff we're actually currently working with the University of Michigan on. Hey, Don. Working with University of Michigan on, as well as Michigan State University, and we're trying to do a lot of research right now with veterans on different means of trying to find alternatives to a lot of the chemicals, narcotics, opioids, just a lot of the stuff that's going on right now. And I haven't really looked too much into it, but there's been a lot of research about various different things. Like I started checking personally, and with actually a whole team of people started checking into like industrial hemp, the effects of CBDs, you know, the benefits they can have for like joint pain, muscular dystrophy, seizures, all kinds of different stuff. And then it's kind of led us into checking into kratom, checking into other things, you know, to help guys with alcoholism, to help guys with just all kinds of issues. And the biggest thing right now is a lot of guys are out there just more or less being treated as guinea pigs by the VA and by the FDA, just getting pumped full of medications, and half the times you don't even know what the medications are. I mean, you just sit there and get mailed a 90 to 100 and some odd day subscription of whatever it is the VA decides to give you that month when you get, or that quarter when you get all your meds. I know that mine was changing, like, I don't know, every couple of months I was getting something different, so it was pretty crazy. But we got to talking back and forth, and he was telling me that a lot of the stuff that he was doing, he's actually down in Kentucky, in which I didn't know that, and I was going back and forth talking to him and stuff, and Kentucky's actually leading blazing a trail right now in CBD trial studies. It started off back in Colorado, where they tested, I think it was like 50 veterans, probably about 2 years ago, in which every state needs to start taking a hold in this, because, I mean, there's proven research behind all this stuff. I mean, from China, Russia, Pakistan, Japan, Europe, Canada, Colorado, California. I mean, there's, you know, states all over the country they're actually doing these tests. But that's not the moral of tonight. Tonight's actually, we're going to be talking with the guest, Nick Blackston. He also goes by, I believe, Blackfoot or Black Sun, Nick Blackson. So, and he was telling me he actually started participating in some trial studies that for MDMA. And I mean, I've heard a little bit about it. I haven't really checked into it too much, to be honest. I mean, because I know it's still on the cutting edge. There's still a lot of people that are on the fence about a lot of stuff, but seeing the effects that it's having in his life personally and his family's lives, and, you know, just hearing him on some of this stuff, you know, and it's like so many other people. I mean, if you're medicating properly, it's not like you're just walking around tripping on acid, or just walking around in the public smoking a joint, or, you know, or anything else. Like, it's like any other, you know, subscription or prescription. I mean, it can be abused, or you could actually take it the way it's supposed to. You know, with Blackston out there, I'm pretty excited to talk to him tonight, because I'm kind of curious, because, you know, guys that are firsthand going through some of this stuff, and, you know, being a part of these trials and signing up for them. I mean, a lot of guys are like, oh, they're just looking for it. It's like, no, a lot of these guys, like, right now, I was sending somebody a summary earlier that we've got roughly about 50 guys right now that are actively going back and forth between helping each other and doing everything. But I guarantee all 50 of those guys are battling with issues that they wish that, one, they could either communicate properly with us or a doctor or anything else, just like every one of us, like Jennifer's sitting in here right now, that, her and I have discussions about it all the time. It's misconception, our heads are scrambled and everything else. So you say one thing, we perceive another, and it always seems like people are on different pages and wavelengths. But I've been doing a little bit of research into, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. And they've actually got some pretty good video clips. I want to play this one now. And we're actually going to be taking a call from Blackston. Here in about 15 minutes, we're going to give him a call and let him explain all about the study and what they're actually conducting.
This time on Vet Story.
I had a head injury in training, designated marksman on Overwatch detail, so they gave me a parrot and I sat on rooftops. Mortar lands right next to it. Had I been standing up to pee, I'd be dead. When I came home and I started having problems, you helped your wife who left you. No, I don't need to drink myself to death on Christmas Eve. I need to go to church. And they say they're full. I got tears streaming down my face.
I agree with that, Tom. We need to get legit research going, and a lot of guys just need to step up and start doing something about it.
Their emotions and their memories are just too difficult to process. We're trying to get FDA approval to make MDMA into a prescription drug to assist with psychotherapy to treat PTSD. And that produces this feeling of trust and intimacy.
One of the first things I said when the kicked in was, oh my God, I still understand why people take this now.
All right, I want to stop it real quick right there because the simple fact that he said when it kicks in, it was like, oh my God, I see why people take this now. I personally don't think, I've had a little bit of experience with it, back in the day, but if you're microdosing, you're not really going to feel it kick in. Personally, I wouldn't, Doc Gage is on here. He might know something more about it, but personally, if these guys got you microdosing, you might. If you're extremely anxious and elevated and aggravated and everything else, and then it actually releases the endorphins, releases everything in time the way it's supposed to, it may soothe you and may just give you a completely different feeling other than the fight or flight. But I'm not real sure about that. But that's something to talk to Nick about tonight. I can't wait to get him on here.
Welcome to Vet Story. I'm your host, Phil Briggs, and today we'll talk about how the drug, commonly known as ecstasy, may actually cure PTSD and be the, pardon the pun, X factor in helping stop suicide. Now, it's interesting to note that we're releasing this podcast in the month of May, which is actually Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental health, especially in the veteran community, is something we always need to be mindful of. Though our friends and loved ones can seem to have little or no outward symptoms, many could be dealing with invisible wounds. And although veterans are certainly a category of people who can experience PTSD, the data shows that many people suffer from mental health conditions, which all too often can lead to suicide.
And touching on that a little bit, everybody hears me talking about this all the time. It's just because of the fact that everybody comes from a different place and everybody comes from a different background. And that's one of the things that, everybody's always harped on everything. There's not one common fix for everyone. There's no two guys that are the same, no two veterans, no two women, no two children, no two anyone that is the same. So when you start hearing some of these, statements made about, the way people have these invisible wounds, you don't know what led to a lot of those. So a lot of times when you're actually encountering someone, like, just use myself, and I tell people this all the time, like, if you see me start to get worked up or I start to raise my voice, just defuse the situation, just kind of, either just don't talk or don't create combatives. Don't sit there and solidify your stance. Don't sit there and get ready to engage, because a lot of times guys like us, the only thing we know is fight or flight. And last time I checked, I ain't got wings. So when you sit there and, I'll just take, my personal experience, it's, I've shared it with a few people, let's see, first time I found a dead body, I think I was like 8 years old. First time I saw somebody get shot and killed, I was about 9 years old. First time I had a friend killed, like directly in front of me, like blood splatter, I think I was about 12 years old. First time I was shot myself, I was 15 years old. First time I saw a friend of mine get killed right next to me was probably about 3 months after I got shot, just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Then you add all this stuff together, I mean, like watching, breaking my neck and being life flighted out, watching friends of mine get killed. And all this stuff is pre-Marine Corps. This is all stuff that I did before I went into training, before I went into deployments, before I started doing all this stuff. And everybody's just like, like some of these guys come back, and they just snap. Well, it's not that. It's like anybody else. You've got these urges. If you go back to, the beginning of time when we first started, we were savages. I mean, we killed, we maimed, we raped, we pillaged, we did everything. And then you civilize people, and then you train them to ignore ignore being civilized and go to war. So you get somebody that's, been put through, a massive amount of, head trauma, closed head injuries, anything of that nature. And then you put them in extremely stressful situations and you say detach from civility and just attack and kill, bring back your roots. And then when you're done doing this stuff for them, they just send you home. It's like, all right, now you got to learn how to adjust to civilization again. And you're just in there just like, all right, well, how exactly is that going to work? So that's one of the things with, one of our big pushes with Odin's Outcasts is to ensure that everybody knows you're never alone. It doesn't matter, what it is. The only thing we want to see is the suicide rates come down, the opium addiction comes down. I don't care if you want to smoke a joint. I don't care if you want to go microdose. I don't care what you're doing. As long as you don't have a needle hanging out your arm, or, taking too many opiates or any of this other ignorant shit, like we're there to support you. And right now we're dealing with guys that are battling addiction right now within our own organization, and a lot of the guys won't even return our calls right now because of the fact that, we're sitting there talking to them. It's just like, hey, look, we're here for you, whatever you need, but you've got to take those steps. Those first steps, we'll be right beside you every step you take. We're not going to send you to go clear a building together, and we're not going to have you, battle this demon together. But some of these guys, it's so much easier to take the shortcut and just sit there and say, you know what? It's too much work trying to stay clean. Let me pop this pill, or let me do this line, or let me run this needle. And it's just, guys, I'm telling you, there's so many options out there, and you can see with the 2018 Farm Bill Act, that everybody's jumping on with. There's your CBD research. There's your alternative stuff with Kratom. It is a good temporary alternative. All you guys out there that are taking this stuff daily, you need to stop. This stuff will kill you. It causes liver failure. It causes all kinds of things. It does help with alcoholism. It will help you get off alcohol if you're having drinking problems. I've had a lot of guys like cuss me and get really mad at me because I'm telling you right now, if you try to mix alcohol with Kratom, projectile. It's not nice. There's been a couple of guys that are, pretty bad off that we've given it to them and told them to take it first thing in the morning, knowing exactly what it would do to them, and instead of stopping drinking, they stopped taking Kratom because something was wrong with the Kratom. So it's pretty funny. But I mean, all this stuff, it's proven to help, block receptors, assist with opiate addiction and so many things. Like we got guys right now that are kicking pills and kicking a lot of stuff, and it could be something as simple as just, a drop of CBD under the tongue, or, mixing a little shot glass of Kratom. These are plants. The reason why so many people are bucking it is because all the mainstream media, or not mainstream media, but pharmaceutical companies and everybody's been attacking all this stuff, and they're saying it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. If you do this stuff, you're a drug addict. And it's like, so what does that make me if I'm sitting around taking a fistful of medications every day and drinking a 6-pack of beer every day when I get off work to knock the edge off? I mean, so you'd rather me be a pill addict and kill myself slowly and drink alcohol, which is killing my kidneys, my liver, all this other stuff, get me just slowly killing myself, and that's okay, but it's not okay for me to take an isolate that's produced naturally within your body and drop it onto your tongue that's just going to release other, endorphins and stuff throughout your body to relax you and make you feel good. So a lot of this stuff, I don't know, but definitely looking forward to talking
From the
to
front lines
Blackston
to
a little
first
more.
responders to her own family, the need to treat post-traumatic stress and depression has never been greater. And as I read this script right now, its importance is underscored by today's somber anniversary, May 18th, the day we learned that legendary Soundgarden frontman Chris Cornell had taken his own life.
Black hole sun, won't you come? Wash away
Dream money is always the problem.
black hole sun, won't you come?
And no matter what we do, money's always going to be the root of all evil. I mean, you know it, I know it. Like, we actually, a couple of weeks ago, when we were sitting in front of the board with the University of Michigan talking about the CBD program, that question was actually raised a couple of times through a couple of the professors we talked to, and then they're turning around sending stuff back to people, asking them, like, what's the margins on this, how much we're going to get out of this, and it's just like, oh, wow, all right, so it doesn't matter about the research or anything else, you're just concerned about how much money you guys are going to get, which I know a lot of you Michigan State or University of Michigan fans, you know what, y'all can kiss it, because Michigan State's rocking through right now, so they're saying they don't care about the money, they don't care about anything, all they want to do is find a viable farming commodity for farmers, as well as getting the right assistance to veterans. And to me, that says a lot about any university. When universities are more concerned with losing grant money and the way people are going to perceive what they're doing, instead of actually doing the research, because I mean, like, that's most universities are research institutions. So for them to block and hold out research, that makes them no better than a lot of these, conglomerates and a lot of these lobbyists and pharmaceutical companies that are out there doing everything that they can to just kind of keep all this stuff suppressed. And when the truth is the more research and the more testing they do on a lot of this stuff, they're starting to discover, how many more benefits there are with the limited amount of side effects compared to your Vicodin and compared to, Loratabs and, all these other crap that they're pumping everybody full of. I mean, it was straight up. I was talking to somebody the other day about it. They had me on, at one point in time before I started taking a lot of my stuff, they had me on clonazepam, triazidone, for sleep and then I had to take Valium and Xanax to calm my nerves, and then sertraline and some bupropion crap to offset my mood. Then there was like 4 other medications I had to take with that to counteract the side effects of that. So it's like, if you really sit there and think about it, like, all the crap you're taking and pumping into your body, it's just, it's like, no wonder everybody's walking around as zombies and flipping out on people and everything else. Like, they don't know which way's up. And if they don't take their meds on time, their body's becoming chemically dependent on it. So then they end up snapping because they don't take something on time. We've got a friend right now that's like that. If he doesn't take his meds as prescribed to him by the VA, never had these issues before, but now if he doesn't take them, within like a couple of hours of him not taking it, he'll have a seizure. We've sat there and watched him. We've watched him projectiled, and everything else. Like, he cannot go anywhere without his meds. And it's just sad to see, people create, the addictions they are and the dependencies they are when it's not always needed. So let's go ahead and I want to get, I guess I should have wrote his phone number down. Let's see here. I bet I can get it in here. Excuse me real quick, live viewers. Uh-oh, I don't think I can. Oh, man. Let's see, I think I got it right here. Y'all work with me for a minute. I'm not very technically sound. I bounce around a lot. Let's see. Supposed to have a couple of guys in there helping, but daggum army guys. Too soon. Let's see if we can get him. I guess they've got some big storm coming through there tonight. So he was saying it was going to be kind of a hit or miss to actually get him on the phone tonight. Let's see if we can get him. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to get a hold of him.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice message.
We'll give him a shot, give him a minute or two, and then give him another shot. I know that earlier when I was going back and forth with him, he said he was having some issues. They had some nasty storm coming through the hills down there, knocking power out. And as you guys know, if you've ever been off in Kentucky, in a lot of mountainous areas, you don't get the best cell phone service anyway. Let's see, try him one more time here. If you guys go to the page earlier that I posted, that's actually a picture of him with the article that they wrote. I believe it was on NPR National News. What's up, Mr. Hatala?
Hello?
Hey, Blackston? All right. I don't know what that was. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to get a chance to chat with him tonight. Whoever that was just hung up on us. So, but going back and forth, I mean, we're sitting there going with like some of the stuff that Dr. Michael Medhofer, he's one of the ones that's actually leading a lot of the research right now and how different it is from other psychotherapy, the actual MDMA assisted help. And it's not just about the MDMA and some of the other stuff that it's more or less just trying to get the information out there to guys, you know, to let them know that, you know, there's guys all over the place that are trying, you know, that are struggling, that are having the same issues that every one of you guys are, you know, and gals. It's just the fact of how you deal with it, how you move forward with it, and what you do to address it. I mean, it's either you can hide from it and just take your pills like a good boy, like the doctor tells you, and suppress everything and just wait on it to come boiling out on, you know, some innocent bystander. Or you can just sit there and do the same thing and suppress it with alcohol, or you can actually start facing a lot of the issues, start owning up to them, looking at them, look at yourself in the mirror and actually trying to start making changes. Whatever it is, I mean, just do what you've got to do. I did the same thing. I mean, every one of us did. Nice, cushy, you know, 6-figure job, working in the air conditioner, home every night, not having to really deal with any BS. But, I mean, it was the meds, the numbness, the anxiety, the anger, the explosiveness, you know, hiding in a bottle, you know, just isolating, doing everything I possibly could. I mean, everybody goes through it, you know, and that's the biggest thing is reminding people you're never alone. You know, like some of the strongest guys that, you know, I looked up to, and, you know, just some of them reaching out to me over time, sitting there saying, you know, it's just like, wow, dude, you know, you're becoming pretty vocal about this stuff. You know, it's like, dude, you know, look at you guys. You know, some of these guys I haven't talked to in, you know, 5, 10, 15 years, you know, and then I start getting vocal about some of the stuff that I'm having issues with. And, you know, every one of these guys are coming out of the woodwork. You know, their parents are calling me, you know, guys that I haven't seen since Ramadi, or guys that I haven't seen since Baghdad or Afghanistan or, you know, anywhere. And these guys are, you know, them or their families, you know, just calling to talk, you know, and just spending that 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes on a phone call with somebody and just letting them know, hey, dude, you're not alone, man. you know, or hey, chickie, you're not alone. Like every one of us battle the same battles. It's just what you do with it. You know, luckily I've got Jennifer here because I get hung up on, you know, problems all the time. It really messes with my head because every one of us is supposed to be, you know, problem solvers, quick thinkers. You blow a house up underneath me and I'll figure out a way to get out of it and go clear the next building and get guys in and out of there safely. You know, if a guy comes in with a gun, I'll figure out a solution to it, you know, but it comes to inside your head, every one of us. You get inside your head, you get wrapped up on a problem and you don't know how to let it go. Like you just can't. Like it just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning and it almost consumes you. What's up, man? I mean, that's one of the biggest things is getting guys out there to get them to start talking to some of these guys, you know, getting them checked out, getting them to go talk to the doctors, you know, seeing what other options are out there. You know, like a lot of guys, you know, and gals don't know that, you know, if your work doesn't have, you know, insurance or it's not providing you insurance, talk to the VA. The VA's not wanting to do anything. Check with your state rep because a lot of times if you are, you know, a certain percentage of disability, you automatically qualify for state benefits. Start seeking outside assistance. Stop going to the VA. Start going to the county hospital or to, you know, wherever. You know, just because you're a veteran and you don't want to pay the insurance or whatever the case is, doesn't mean you have to go into the VA week after week or month after month or whatever and just put up with a lot of their BS. I love going in there just because I love harassing people. You know, like every time the security, the front desk, anybody sees me coming in, it's like half of them are smiling, hey, Josh, and the other half of them are like, oh, shit. You know, and they're turning around walking off because it's accountability. You know, and everybody knows that more than 50% of the VA is interns and residents, you know, or students. So, I hate to tell you guys, you're held accountable too. Because guess what? There's a lot of veterans that also went to college. You're not special because you went to college. You're just like everybody else. Or just like veterans. You're not special because you're served. You're just like everybody else. Hold yourself accountable, but also hold everybody around you accountable. And big thing right now is, and I can't say this enough, get checked out. I mean, we've got guys right now, never smoked a day in their life, PT studs, and having asthma attacks. I'm right there with them on a lot of this stuff. You know, I don't know, like the difficulty breathing, the migraines, and a lot of this stuff. You know, guys' pancreases are dying. You know, guys are developing AIDS out of nowhere. You know, guys are, you know, it's nonstop. And everybody automatically, they're sitting there thinking, it's like, oh, well, you know, if it's AIDS, it's automatically HIV. No, that's not true. AIDS is actually autoimmunity disease syndrome. That means that you can't fight off infection. You can't fight off colds. Like a simple cold can turn into pneumonia. You know, a simple broken toe can turn into a leg amputation. You know, I mean, it's stuff like that. That's what a lot of your brothers and sisters that you deploy with, it's our age, are being diagnosed with AIDS. Like, why is there such a massive influx of AIDS now amongst veterans? You know, and then you've got guys' pancreases that are dying left and right. You've got guys that are getting gray matter in their brain. You got guys that are going into full respiratory failure and on oxygen and freaking breathing machines just to go to sleep. And they're like, oh, it's sleep apnea. You know, guys, don't just believe everything that's crammed down your throat. I mean, do your due diligence. And please get out there, research some of this stuff. Find out about your doctors. You know, like you'd be amazed at how many doctors are out there just are in it for a paycheck. And and that's the funny thing is a lot of you guys, right? I mean, we don't have to go in there and scream and yell and, you know, complain and flip out on these doctors. But the way I look at it is just like going in any place else and you're about to go in on a mission or an op and you got some boot-ass lieutenant coming in there trying to tell you something that's going to jeopardize you or your men. I mean, are you going to let him do it or are you just going to call him out and hold him accountable? Prove it to me. Why do I need to take that med? Because I said so. Well, who are you? I've met you a total of 2 times over 3 years. Why are you changing my meds out? Why do you want me to do this stuff? Because I'm telling you, Well, that's not telling me anything. Well, I'll tell you to, go start doing something. You're going to look at me like I'm stupid. For some reason, a lot of people think that, they've been brainwashed. If a doctor tells you something, you got to listen to them. No, that's not always the case, because doctors are the biggest drug dealers known to man. If it was not for doctors pushing prescriptions, pharmaceutical companies would be out of business. Plain and simple. So don't just sit there. Just because would you walk up to a drug dealer on a corner and sit there and be like, hey, give me something for a migraine? And he just hands you something and say, just trust me, I'm a doctor. No. So why are you going to go in because somebody learned historical data for a couple of years and passed a couple of tests and stayed in school a little bit longer? They know more about your body and your anatomy than you do. They know more about your feelings, your anxiety, your depression, your, what aches, pains, everything else. No. That's what everybody needs to start checking themselves as well. Self-aid, buddy aid. But for some reason, everybody forgot about the self-aid. Sooner or later, you've got to look at yourself. You've got to address yourself, and you got to fix yourself. You can't just keep running around and expecting everybody to have a magic pill that's going to fix all your problems. I did. And, yeah, I'm still looking for that magic pill. But I don't know, Blackson. Sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to you. We'll try you again. I'm kind of curious about this little MDMA. I can't even say it right. MDMA. Yeah, I was saying MDNA or whatever. Let's try him one more time to see, because I'm pretty curious about this stuff. I'll sign up for research on it. They can microdose me. I'll just sit around smiling, singing Kumbaya, just loving life. Well, I don't think we're going to be able to get them.
Hello.
Hey, Blackston.
No, wrong number.
All right, sorry. All right, well, I guess that's, I think he said wrong number. All right. Well, Blackston, sorry if you're watching the feed. I think you gave me the wrong number, bro. So, but you definitely, anybody that's want to check into some of this stuff, definitely go in and check out, Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. It's called MAPS. www.maps.org. A lot of the stuff they've been posting is actually extremely recent. It looks like about every couple of days they're putting more studies, more information up. It's definitely grabbing a lot of traction. You've got UConn, University of Connecticut, that's doing a lot of research on it, publishing studies. Pharmaceutical companies getting involved. It's definitely something that's moving forward. University of Kentucky's involved. I know the University of Colorado's been doing it. I think Seattle. I can't think of what university it is, but I know that they've been doing some of the studies in Seattle. I don't really see Michigan doing it anytime soon, but there may be states around you guys that are. So, and then also I could use a lot of your guys' help. We got information in, actually on the way to the studio, about a female Army veteran down in Texas. Went through, was it MST? For anybody that doesn't know what that is military sexual trauma. She's having a lot of issues right now, trying to get her and her 3 kids relocated from Texas to Michigan. 100% service connected. Husband was murdered 2 years ago. Just all kinds of issues, and we're trying to get her relocated up this way. So we're looking for any resources, connections, anything possible down in the Texas area. We did send some of the information out over to Recon Sniper Foundation. Hopefully they can help out. Also reached out to some other Marines and retired Master Sergeant down in Texas to see what they could do. and see what they can do to help. Fallen Wounded Soldier Fund's going above and beyond on this one. They're contacting like trucking companies, everything they possibly can. But I think it's roughly between $4,000 to $6,000 to get it relocated, and I think so far they've come up with about $4,000. So they're still kind of running short on it. There's some that just kind of spurred up. So anybody that's willing to help can help and lend in hand. It doesn't even matter if it's just somebody going over to help them load a U-Haul or help them pack up some stuff, whatever you can do to help. I mean, definitely reach out to me through Facebook, through Instagram. You know, it doesn't really matter. Or you can contact the Fallen Wounded Soldier Fund and ask for Dr. Phillips by name and say that you want to help the family in Texas trying to relocate to Michigan. They'll put you in contact with her, and she'll, you know, guide you on what you can do to assist. I do know that, you know, Dave here at Podcast Detroit, want to give him a thanks. We will be moving the studio hopefully by the end of this week. If not, then by the end of next week. Getting everything set up over at the clubhouse. Got the dartboard set up. Tom 420 the man here. He showed me a video of jumbo darts. We're definitely about to have to set it up in the clubhouse lawn. And I think that would definitely get a lot of attention. You see a bunch of idiots like us throwing 4-foot-long darts at a giant dartboard. So, I mean, we do like darts. Let's see, hopefully by this weekend we'll have the weight set and some of the other stuff in there. We got a couple of the dartboards in there. Studio equipment should be in there towards the end of this week. We've got all the office stuff in there, and then hopefully within the next month or so we can start clearing out the sheds and start getting some of the dogs in there, start training. So one step at a time, but like everything else, you know, Rome wasn't created overnight. So the more help we can get, the more assistance we can get, we definitely appreciate it. You know, Gage, big shout out to him. We just found out, was it a few days ago last week, the air conditioner didn't work at the clubhouse. So I didn't really pay attention. I'm always sitting there with the windows open, lights off, on the computer or something, just going to town. Doesn't really bother me. But other guys are coming in, you know, it's like, holy hell, it's hot in here. It's like, I didn't even notice in the whole time. Like, it's like, all right, well, I'll turn the air conditioner on. So I shut all the windows, turned the air conditioner on, sat down, and yeah, then I started sweating. You know, it's like, oh man, went over there, temperature went up like 10 degrees. I was like, all right, well, crap. So Gage actually, I said something to him. We were all going to get together the day before Memorial Day, go over there, cook out, throw some darts, and goof off. Once it hit 90 degrees and we realized there was no air conditioning, we decided to pull out and then just have it over at my place and play some cornhole and have a fire, which was nice. And I will tell you, s'mores on oatmeal cookies, kids love them. We couldn't find graham crackers. We had some oatmeal cookies, so we made them s'mores with oatmeal cookies. But, yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff going on over there. Let's see. Yeah, I know that we got to get some signage done. All kinds of stuff. Just need volunteers and help. But anyway, back to Gage. He donated an air conditioner to us. I was actually over at the clubhouse working all day today. Had the air conditioner up in the window. It actually kept it cool, you know, in the big room to about 73 degrees. So I've got another air conditioner we're about to put in the other side and crank that one up. I'm just going to hate to see our electric bill. That's going to be the only bad part. But everything seems like it's moving forward pretty good. Just mainly needs some help. So there's some guys that are stepping up, and there's some guys that are just kind of slipping into old ways and doing things. And I mean, guys sit there and they try to think of different ways they can help and do stuff like that. It's honestly, get a hold of us, come over, just talk to us. Once we get to know you a little bit, it's easy. If you want to help, start helping out with buddy checks. I mean, that's a very easy, fast solution for a lot of guys. Like I was in there saying earlier, you know, there's roughly 50 guys. Now, I know me personally and anybody else, you get aggravated if you don't have time to talk to somebody on the phone. So if people are sitting there expecting me to call 50 guys a day, and be able to carry on a conversation with them, that'll honestly limit me to under probably about 10 minutes per person. I know it's under a half hour per person. If you're looking at 50 people a day, that's a half hour going around the clock without stopping to eat, use the bathroom, sleep, or anything else. So on top of that, I'm supposed to be working, trying to help run a company, set up, just all kinds of stuff that it's not really realistic, and it's pretty taxing. So I definitely use a little bit of assistance. I know Gage, give him a shout out. He's been on me about wanting to step into the ring, help out. A lot of you guys, a lot of the listeners are going to be able to get a chance to listen to him and talk to him. As soon as we get the local studio set up, we're trying to get him in, talk a little bit about the book he wrote, The Strains of War. You should definitely get on Amazon, take a look at it. It's Strains, Strains, of War, written by Gage Amesler. So it's definitely a really good book. And I highly recommend anybody, just going and picking it up, reading through it, and just seeing what your thoughts are. We're going to be having him come in, start talking about a little bit about the book, a little bit about himself, kind of how he got into doing some of the things that he's doing, and, see if hopefully, like everything else, you keep spreading truth, knowledge, and information, and providing resources to people and providing them the tools and information that they need. Then as a whole, you see the entire economy, the entire community, you see everything start to lift when everybody's dependent on somebody else doing something for them and them not actually taking the time to research something. Then it's honestly laziness. Like I saw this post on Instagram earlier, and I couldn't help but laugh. And like a lot of times, and that's the reason why I don't have like my own Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, because I have a problem with keeping my mouth shut. Anybody that served with me knows that I cannot keep my mouth shut. If it's stupid, it's stupid, and I'm going to call it out. This dude posted something, and it was something about was it Trump passing legislation? Recent legislation was approved for decriminalization of marijuana, and a federal legislation passed for recreational use. And they posted it and was like, does anybody have any more information about this? And it was like, yeah, it's a meme that was made up on Instagram. There's this really cool invention called Google. And there's this really cool thing called Congress.gov. So anytime somebody wants to research something, those two things, that's the best friends you can ever have as an adult. It's Congress.gov to find out what legislation actually is, and Google. So don't believe everything you're seeing on Instagram or on Facebook. I'm telling you, it's the devil. My mama said. I'm pretty much running out of shit to talk about here, people. Let's see, Juice, if you're listening, I might call him and harass him, but I don't think I've got his number. Oh, you do. And then he's actually having some car issues, some vehicle issues, and he is going to school for his master's. We'll see about that, Juicy Juice. I'm just proud of him that he can actually read and write. So, and I told him that he wouldn't really be able to cheat his way through this one. Let's call him and harass him for a minute. Break his concentration to study. Hey, Blackston, if you're listening, dude. Sorry, bro. You gave me the wrong phone number. Told me to give him a call on something that he thought would be able to work, and come to find out it didn't.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
What the... Man, all these guys. Is everybody's phone just like crap tonight? Alright, what is that number again? I don't know. He's pretty long-winded, Juice. If you're listening right now, we've only got about 15 minutes.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice.
Oh, well. All right. Well, never mind. He was in there saying to give him a call after we got off the phone with Blackston because he couldn't make it in tonight. Let's see. Our buddy Blake, wherever he is, he's down in Kentucky someplace working. It was pretty sweet. He actually did a commercial shoot this past weekend, so that was nice. Let's see. Piney's up at rugby practice tonight. Bill was actually had something to do with the dogs, I think. Or Bill, where are you at? I think I saw Havoc Hounds on here someplace. You slacker. And a lot of the guys. I mean, everybody's been so busy running around. It's not even funny, and that's another big reason why we're trying to get everything moved over closer to where a lot of us are. Because I mean, we're looking at an hour drive just to get into the studio every day. There he is. Yep. See, there's Havoc Hounds not coming in here. But it is pretty cool, some of the stuff that he's actually doing with his decoy training and stuff. And definitely check those guys out over at Havoc Hounds and see some of the stuff they're doing. Him and his wife Bonnie are just really doing some amazing stuff. I know that she's doing some stuff with Leader Dogs for the Blind, Leader Dogs America or something like that. And then he's been working with a lot of top-notch trainers on decoy training and IPO training, sniff training, just all kinds of different stuff. So if you're looking for a new upcoming just local veteran dog training badassery, that would probably be your man, Bill. I mean, if you don't get eaten by one of the dogs first. So, and I will tell you guys, that's something if y'all never, what up, Ant? If you guys have never done this, I highly recommend it. You want to feel an adrenaline rush? You go and find a dog trainer that does police dog training, sniff training, IPO training, decoy training, anything like that. See how you feel when you've got an 80 to 200 pound dog coming at you wide open and latching down on your arm. I mean, I'm telling you right now, the rush, the adrenaline, the feeling you get, you know, sitting there trying to keep this dog off of you. I mean, of course you're in a suit or you got a sleeve on or something like that, but it's definitely a nice rush, and I highly recommend anybody trying to do it. We were working with a couple of different people trying to do it, but scammers, con artists, you know, and again, I'll mention his name, Jason Foltz, you know, that evidently I don't know what he's got more of a problem with, either being honest or staying out of jail. I'm not real sure, because I guess the whole time like we were working with him, I guess he got arrested in that last November. And then he got arrested again like here just a couple of months ago, I think last month. And the whole time this guy's running around, you know, as the face of a nonprofit that went from, I don't even know. I'm so confused with these guys. It's not even funny. So Dave's a solid guy. Dave's fun. He's a good guy, solid heart. But anything that Jason Foltz is involved in, it's poison. So absolutely, Ant, you have a good one. And our man, Mr. Joshua P. Coltrane, just joined in. So you actually, Colton, you missed a little bit of it earlier. We're still talking a little bit about MDMA. We were trying to get a guy that I served with that's actually a part of the research and study trials down in Kentucky on the phone. Might end up having to make a trip down there. I know that he is currently cultivating hemp and I believe cannabis down there. And he is also the test subject for MDMA. So he's got a nice little assortment. It really explains the whole Jesus look, though. Like, because you look at pictures of him now and his hair's, like, long. And he's always taking these pictures with, like, a halo behind him, making it look like Jesus. And, like, with the way his beard and his hair and everything, I'm just like, I got you. Okay. I could never understand it. Like, I was just like, all right. I don't remember this dude being like this, you know, and then all of a sudden now it's just like I see a lot of his Instagram posts and see some of his other stuff, and I'm like, all right, he's really into art, you know, and then I'm sitting there looking at some of the pictures like, wow, that's pretty abstract, you know, and started looking just like, oh, yeah, I'm doing MDMA trials. Like, explains the art, explains so much. It was like, all right, dude, cool. So, definitely this weekend, we've got a couple of guys getting together. Oh, also, anybody that you know of that wants a boat, tell them to get a hold of me. I've got a boat that I bought it for the clubhouse, and I bought it last year actually for the nonprofit. Got a really good deal on it from an older couple. The guy's wife, it was like, yeah, it's a sad story, but they wanted it out from underneath their house. I came and got the boat, so they brought it back to the guys, told them, hey, we can fix this up, make this the nonprofit's boat, and all this other crap. And everybody's like, well, let's fix it up. So I pull it over to the clubhouse. We go in, ask everybody, hey, everybody just kick up $20. We'll go ahead and get this boat fixed up nice. We'll go ahead and get it out on the lake. Nobody wants to do anything with it. So now I've got a boat sitting there at the clubhouse that whoever wants it, come on. I got a clear title for it. So let's go, Bill. Hey, I don't even want to hear you saying that you want a boat. You've got a freaking recliner and TV stand you still got to pick up too, bonehead. So, hey, actually, you come bring that beautiful truck over, hook it to the boat, and we'll put the recliner and the TV stand inside the boat. And Bonnie can actually ride in the recliner, straight jet clamp it, that shit all the way back to Clarkston. I would. Man, I'm definitely not looking forward to some of the stuff, like the heat that's going right now. I was just sitting there looking at the time, and then like the temperature just popped up in the corner, and I'm just like, everybody sits there and wants all of this, wants the winter to be over and everything. And I don't know if I've ever noticed this in Michigan or not, but it came in, and summer came in, it came in hot and heavy. It went from like 60 degrees, 70 degrees to like 90 overnight. It was like, shit. No. But I guess it could be worse. Could be playing in the sandbox or living in California or Chirac. I've been watching a lot of videos on Chirac lately. So, and if anybody don't know what that is, that's Chicago. That's the new name of Chicago. It's actually like the murder capital of like everything. So I've been watching a lot of stuff on that, and I think we need to get a squad size element together and go clean some streets up. Has anybody actually been aren't you Southern? Who, me? Dude, I've been up here with all you Yankees for freaking like going on 10 years now. I'm not used to all this heat. I'm used to like winters and snow and stuff like that, and then like springs and falls, and then like it gets 90 up here, dude. That is abnormal. I came up here to get away from that hot ass shit. 9 years of playing in 100 and some degree weather sandboxes, you finally say, hey, snow doesn't sound too bad. And then you get around the snow and you're just like, all right, well, it's a little bit too much snow. So I definitely want to give a shout out to one of the guys, speaking of snow. And anybody that wants to reach out to him, give him a call, let me know. He's a really good guy. Devil Dog Dave, former Gulf War scout sniper, been battling a lot of issues, PTSD, depression, a lot of issues. He's actually in the process, he's having some family issues right now, and like so many of us, like the easiest way to get away from it is just move, relocate, run from the problem. He's actually in the process of selling his house and moving to Montana in the middle of nowhere on his own. I'm asking for anybody just to reach out to this guy and talk to him, and the only reason why is because anybody that knows, what we did last year with making our trip out to Colorado, I am extremely concerned about this man being alone in the woods by himself. This dude, in the matter of like 3 days of us being in Colorado homesteading at another Marine's place, he managed to burn all the firewood for the entire homestead, by the second night because he wanted to sleep at the bonfire. Caught his boots on fire and burned his sleeping bag. And fell down the side of a mountain. Yeah. So this is all within like 3-4 days. And this guy says that he wants to move to the mountains by himself. Marine or not, if you're a bonehead, you're a bonehead. And dude, no. So we may need some support to go tie this dude down. That is true. That is very true. But that's why I came up here to this floating peninsula, so that way I can keep it all washed and flushed out. Now the only thing I got to worry about is salt getting in there. Appreciate that. I was trying to get a hold of Mr. Colton to see if he wanted to come in here, because everybody was kind of started, oh man, I'm busy. It's like, great. So now I got to sit here and flap my gums for an hour by myself, because the beautiful Miss Jennifer Kipp sitting right there. Oh, they can see you now, baby. Is refusing to talk or do anything. She likes to just sit there. So, nare nada. I don't know. I would say kind of, no, that was in sync, that I got corrected on, because they're saying that it was Justin Timberlake, and I didn't know he was in sync, and these guys are arguing. The sad thing about it is Colton, you and Clay keep comparing me to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and everything else with the haircuts. So that tells me one of two things. Either one, you guys think I'm devilishly attractive, or two, you guys are gay and y'all got a thing for me. But the odds are is I'm going with the gay side, just because of the fact that you and Clay in perfect synchrony was singing Backstreet Boys the other day. I was a witness. That, my man, you can't, there's no recovering from that. And I think he's either waiting on a really good comeback or he just got off. So, but, and then the other thing, Colton, I still have it up here. Colton just has little patches, little plugs. Oh. So definitely want to thank those guys, Colton and all the guys over at Camorn. There you go. So definitely want to thank all the guys over at Camorn for helping out the way they always do. Just so everybody knows that, let's see, a lot of the studio stuff, we've been talking with Dave and these guys here at Podcast Detroit, coming over and getting the studio set up. Dave's actually really busy with setting up a IT training in Detroit, a new studio and all kinds of stuff, to where he's actually got voc rehab approval for getting veterans in there, getting them paid while they're getting trained, and assisting them getting jobs, just doing all kinds of stuff. So I knew it would be a little bit of a task for him to try to come out and help keep us squared away in Livingston County. And Colton and the guys over at Camorn put us in touch with one of their IT guys that did a lot of the stuff for Planet Green Trees. And he came over there today, and it was actually pretty cool. I mean, seeing those guys. And definitely a big thank you to these guys over here at Podcast Detroit. I mean, for the first couple of months, it was kind of rocky, not rocky, but getting me in the swing of things, and just seeing the amount of support that they provide us right now, and like the stuff that they're doing. I mean, like them basically donating the studio to us to come in here and do this stuff, all the equipment that they've got in there ready for us, a couple of $1,000s worth of equipment they're going to set up for us over there. I mean, just all kinds of good stuff. I see your beard. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, well, I guess Bill and Colton want to just sit here and just talk trash on me all night. Love you guys. But, and then also with that, like, come check us out. Colton's actually in Camorn Law has been helping us and actually another Marine and another group of guys actually get moving forward with a lot of the hemp stuff. So without these guys, it wouldn't be happening right now. So come check us out. We'll actually be at the Cannabis Cup next weekend, and we're going to be set up right next to Comorn Law, and right next to us will be a hemp tent, so that we're going to be actually passing out information about hemp and CBD. So definitely appreciate everybody for listening. Definitely appreciate everybody for letting me know your ears off for a little bit, and we shall see you guys next week. And hopefully we have a new location for the studio. We shall see. But until next week, I appreciate everybody. This is Josh signing out.